So today we're going to have a look at tying knocking points. There's two different types. The first one I'll show you is the one I use for compound, and the second one is the one that I will use for recurve. As far as the serving you use, it doesn't matter too much for the compound ones. The recurve ones, it's better to use one a bit more quality because it's a bit trickier. But yeah, start off with the compound ones. So you want to pull out probably about 10 to 12 inches of serving. Trim that off. Now we're not going to worry about location. I'm just going to show you the knot that we're tying. So all we want to do is loop this over the string and tie a simple knot on one side. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Knot on both sides. We come back to our first side, tie a knot. And we're going to do this about 3 to 4 times on each side. So, and then we're going to do a double knot to finish it off. So one knot here and a second knot. I'll just trim off the end of that one. And that's our first knocking point. All we want to do now is grab a lighter, pinch the ends together and burn them down. And that's it. That's it for your compound knocking points. So they're pretty straightforward. This is the kind of knock point you'd use inside of your D-loop. So if you make a D-loop a little wide, you need to kind of have a bit more, you need a bit closer to the knock. Or if you want to tie a knock point underneath your D-loop, so you have to change it, you know where it is. So that's your compound D-loop. The one thing I would stress is never use any glue. As soon as you use glue, glue can crystallize and become sharp, which can get into your strands and ruin the life of your string. So you just want to burn this down. Now we'll pull that one off. Good little trick to remove knocking points is get yourself a set of knock pliers for the brass knock points. These work really good because you just want to grab the sharp edge onto the bit we burned down. And that should enable us to pull the rest of it off. Apologies if my fingers are in the way. Cool. So that's your compound knocking point. Now for a recurve knocking point, we want it to be a little bit longer, and we essentially want it to be kind of like the consistency of the serving, because we're going to be putting our fingers on that. And if we've got a lump like we just did for the compound knocking point, it's not going to feel great under your fingers, and it can change the position of your hand slightly too. So we're going to tie this one a little bit differently. So we might get about 15 to 20 inches of thread this time. And the first step we're going to do is create a loop. So I've just put equal ends into the string, made a loop, and we'll lay that loop down on top of the string. I'm going to place one finger a couple of inches up from that loop. Hold it on the string. I'm going to take the tail and start wrapping the tail back over the top. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now after we've done about 7, that should hold it in place by itself. So now we can do the rest without holding the tail. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll go 15 to 20. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now we've got our 20 loops in place. We're going to take our tail and wrap it back through this loop. So tail goes back in the loop. Grab the other end of the string, pull it through, and it should pull all the bits of serving nicely together. Pull that tight. And you have a really, really nice looking knocking point. It's very smooth. So if you were going to shoot and put your fingers over that loop, it's not going to feel like a bump, it's going to feel like the same consistency as you're serving. To finish that off, cut off the two tails, grab our lighter, burn those ends down. Just be careful when you're burning the serving that you're holding it away from the string. And that's our recurve nocking point there. So again, we haven't used any glue for this. All we've done is tie the knot and then burn it down with a lighter. And you can see that's quite smooth. It'll be good to put our fingers on, and it looks essentially like another layer of serving over the top. And that's the difference between your recurve and compound nocking points. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, but if you want to see any other videos or reviews, pop them in the comments and we'll do our best to get them out to you.